The gains will be with you, always.
What's up, guys? Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. Now that's functional training right there. Functional, if you work beside a Star Wars fanboy that borders on creepy Star Wars fanboy that was just waiting to use his lightsaber that I don't think he got all that long ago, which is kind of contributing to what I just said. The fact of the matter is, before you dismiss what others might define as functional training, you have to understand what it is in the first place. And it's not some buzzword that's overused that now sounds really old and out of style. The fact of the matter is functional training should always be in style because it should mean only one thing, and that is purposeful training. So if you are a wannabe Jedi, you better make sure you're covering all those skills that I demonstrated there if you want to be able to avoid a lightsaber. However, most of us aren't doing that. So maybe that's not exactly what you need to be doing. This move right here, great movement. It's a snatch, overhead snatch. This would be perfect if you were an Olympic lifter. This may not be great. It may have no function for you if you either have a history of shoulder problems or you're an overhead thrower. I train a lot of athletes that throw and get their living and make their living on throwing over their head. This would not be a move that I would put in their programs. A clean, yes, because I can keep them down here at shoulder height, but I don't need to bring them all the way up here weighted, because one bad rep could result in a career. Doesn't mean that it's not a good movement, and it doesn't mean that it's not functional. It is functional for somebody that needs to do that. The same here can be said about this. This looks a little goofy for crying out loud, but this is actually functional if you're a tightrope walker. Now, again, don't laugh. There's people that actually do that for a living, and they need to have the skill to be able to do that. You see, when you walk on a tightrope, you're working on your balance and your proprioception, your ability to feel where your body is in space at all times. And the slightest movement in this direction needs to be compensated and brought back to center, or it could result in really, literally life and death. So this could be really functional. Maybe not for you and for me. Now, balance itself, that is functional. That's something we're going to work on even with ATHLEAN-X, but maybe not that level and not that exercise. Even this one right here, it's a concentration curl. It's one of those bicep exercises that I don't program in our ATHLEAN-X programs. Why? Because it's not really that functional. It's functional if you're a bodybuilder and you're really just solely focusing on your aesthetics. And if you want to get that really intense peak contraction, and then you want to be able to, even as you see here, me self-spot with my other hand, kind of take that set a little bit beyond failure. Again, all good principles, but I wouldn't really want to get you to just sit down and do exercises. If I can get you to stand on your own feet and work that way, I would. The fact is, if you want to train like an athlete, we train a lot of different elements. So some of these aspects of these things will make their way into our programming, right? If you want to be an athlete, you got to have some element of speed. You got to be powerful. You got to have strength. You got to have balance. You got to have coordination. You got to have conditioning, right? All these things wrapped up into one. That's how we train like an athlete, and that's what this channel is all about. We kind of demonstrate it over the course of lots of our videos and in all of our programs. If you're looking for our program that puts it all into one spot, you can head over to ATHLEAN-X.com and get our ATHLEAN-X training program. Start training like an athlete so you can start looking like one. But in the meantime, don't dismiss what others will define as functional training and think right off the bat, because you thought that that was a cool word back in 1990 or in the early 2000s, and now it's out of style. It's not. It's always in style, because it should only mean purposeful training. And whatever your purpose is, that's what functional training should be. All right, guys, I'll be back here again in just a few days. Make sure you leave your comments, your requests. What are your functions? Maybe I can cover them here on this channel for you. I'd be happy to do it in a future video. Please leave them below. In the meantime, I'll be back here again in just a couple days. See ya. Oh yeah, and Jesse and those lightsaber skills, I gotta give it to him. They were pretty damn good. However, I can assure you, there have probably been hours and hours of practice that went into doing that, and maybe even hours of dreaming about practice. And that's pretty creepy. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.